Right then, 145 up the hill, 9 iron, good swing, Matt, come on. You can do this. Oh, 20 yards short. Looked decent, sounded decent. What went wrong with it? Let's find out in today's lesson. So guys, this lesson is for all you scoopers out there. And what I mean by scooping is when we let the club head outrace the hands and we start to see that our lead wrist now is starting to actually get a little bit cupped into impact, and we're adding quite a lot of loft to the golf club that we're actually trying to hit the shot with. Because like I say, if we just slow that video down and put it to the side of me here, it actually looked like a pretty good golf swing. If you were playing with me out here now, you would have said, oh, great shot, Matt. And then as you saw the ball drop, you would have thought, oof, shouldn't have said that. A bit too early, that one. Because it's just landed 20 yards short. I'm going up the hill, but it sounded good, it looked good. What went wrong? And the problem was that as I was making my downswing there, as a conscious effort, I tried to let myself scoop the ball up there. And actually, if we can see this red cane that we've got on the floor here, as I've got that slow motion golf swing going on by the side of me, you might just notice, and if it was if you were here with me now, you'd actually see that the middle of the divot is slap bang in the line of where this red cane is. Because as I've done it and I've timed it up pretty well and I've managed to do a few things, I've got away with the strike. It came from the middle of the golf club, but my 9 iron that has 43 degrees of loft on it probably actually had a little bit more loft presented to the golf ball, so it went a lot higher than normal and it actually went a lot shorter than normal. So if we can get rid of that, what we should see is that we start to actually get the appropriate loft applied to our golf shots, and we'll start to see that we get a better trajectory. We won't see that they're ballooning up into the air as much, and we'll actually get the true distance that we should be hitting. So this idea for this drill came from one of my lessons, Elliot, the other day. Been making some really good progress throughout the year. He's come down a ruck of shots, and he was saying, you know, I'm hitting some good golf shots, but all of a sudden I stand there with my 7 iron out thinking it's going to go 160, and I make my golf swing and it looks all good, it feels all good, and all of a sudden it pulls out 130, just like we've seen in that shot there. So after watching him hit a few golf balls, it became very apparent that he was getting back to a bit of his old scooping ways, letting the club head actually race down. He was still actually swinging the golf club around his body in a good manner like this, but as he was getting to impact, he was almost letting his hands stall and letting the club actually slide under the golf ball. Now, it's great when you get the timing right. You would see that it would just come up short and it wouldn't be too devastating unless there was, you know, a big hazard in front of your green or wherever you're trying to hit it to. But on sometimes when it was starting to happen, he was burying the club into the ground a little bit early, so we were seeing the fat shot starting to appear. So the drill I gave Elliot, using the red cane that we've just had on the floor there, it's an alignment cane cut in half this, it's only about 2 feet long, or 1.5 foot, you can get them from any pro shop or wherever. Great aid if you are a scooper. What we did was stick one of these straight down his shaft here, so he would have about 5 or 6 inches poking through out of his club there. And then what I wanted to do was show him a few golf swings where he was making this scooping action. So we had him come in, and as he was getting to impact, what we were seeing, he'd make his body move and everything would work, but all of a sudden now we can see that this red cane, you can probably see it just poking outside the back side of me here. It's not actually pointing where we want it to do. So as I do that and point it back, we can now see that there's actually quite a lot of loft added onto that golf club. So what I got Elle to imagine was that this cane that was poking up was almost like a bit of a torch. So if you're unable to get one of these, just imagine a beam of light coming out of the butt of your golf club. And what we wanted to try and imagine was, as we addressed the golf ball, we shone the beam under our lead armpit. We'd make the golf swing, and as we were getting down to impact, what we wanted to let happen was not that we let the beam of light shine back into our stomach and then back out behind us. We wanted to feel that we kept the beam of light always shining under the lead armpit, and what that then does is start to actually get a little bit of shaft lean on it. It made Al actually turn his body a little bit more and stay a bit more connected, as opposed to getting into a good position and then almost stalling and then getting the scoop going on. So we had some small practice swings, and the big focus, like I say, was always around this beam of light and the lead armpit, because as soon as we started to make these practice swings, what we were seeing now, he was getting this really nice, straight, strong lead arm, and this handle was leaning towards the target, and he was starting to get this little brush and starting to carry the club through with his body turn, as opposed to letting the club head fly through and then him trying to play catch up after he'd hit the shot. So with his, I think it was his 9-iron we were going with, and what we saw was that on a good strike but big scoopy impact with a 7-iron, it was going about 110, 115. After about 10 minutes of picturing this light bulb shining, this beam of light shining under the lead arm, even with some half swings just like this with an 8 or a 9-iron, we're noticing that it was up to the same distance that he was producing with his 7-iron, all because of how he was applying the golf club. So what I'd like you to do, if you are a big scooper, if you're watching this at home, we're going to take it, we're going to dress it, make sure it's pointing under the lead side, and you're going to have some half swings, and see here as I finish, I'm not this way, pointing it to the ground and out the back of me, it's still pointing behind me here, so I'm carrying it with my turn now. So I want you to hit a few off like this, make sure there's enough room so you're not going to impale your torso if you do this. So little shots, let's hit some, one here, and there, a nice little drivet, and came out at literally half the height, and is nearly, it's probably only about 30 yards short of where I was with my full swing with the 9-iron. So once we went through that, hitting about 10-15 shots and building it up, what we wanted to start to do was see if we could apply the same feeling with a full golf swing. So we actually got into it, we left, I actually changed it to a T-peg, a nice little wooden T-peg just out there, so he wasn't too cautious of the cane poking out there. And we got up, carried the beam of light under the lead arm, and then folded into a finish. And it almost, he described to me that he felt a bit almost like Tommy Fleetwood, because he was holding it off, because now he was actually moving his body more as opposed to throwing his hands at it. So once we got through this, and we always, you know, the big mantra I was saying to him, beam of light, left armpit, beam of light, left armpit, and that was his only feeling that he had, and he tried to take it through to some full golf swings. Let's see if we can finish it off and hit the green here with a better strike. So there, a beautiful divot as we can see there. Yeah, and I think that's over the back nearly. That's gone miles, P790s for you. But what we've got here now, instead of that little grazing of the turf where the divot was almost, the ball was, sorry, in the middle of the divot, what we've got is the ball then turf, because I was thinking about carrying this handle through, not letting it stall and letting the club head slide. I was always thinking about shining that beam of light under my lead armpit here. So if we can make some small swings and see that we're carrying it, one little side note to that, don't get into the point where you're holding the face too much like this where it's too open. We still want to see that we'd shine the beam of light over and under the armpit, but the face is now turned over, so it's not this, that's not under the armpit here, and the face is turned over, and we've got everything we want there. So a fantastic little drill that I found really, really helpful for one of the students there, and just wanted to share it with you. So guys, if you are a big scooper, get rid of that scoop by trying out the beam of light drill. Let me know how it goes for you in the comments down below. Also, do remember to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any future golf lessons. I'm out here at La Cala they've put on the weather for me. I'm out making loads of content to see that we can all improve together. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another one of those lessons.